I got it. I know exactly what Nick Krall is thinking now about this offseason. It's not about the hitting. It's about making the pitching just absolutely phenomenal.
You are Locked On Reds, your daily Cincinnati Reds podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into Locked On Reds. Locked On Reds is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, and now the #1 sports podcasting network in all the land. Thanks so much for helping get us there. We appreciate you so much. My name's Stephen Offenbaker. His name's Jeff Carr. We love baseball. We love the Cincinnati Reds, and we love talking about those things. In fact, we love talking about them so much, we've been doing it for a combined 16 seasons now in podcast form, talking about the Cincinnati Reds. On today's show, a little bit later, we're going to talk about why having Redsfest back is so important for the fans and for the team. We're going to get into that a little bit later. Also, we're going to talk about what will be going on at Redsfest, who's going to be at Redsfest, what's happening at Redsfest, where we're going to be at Redsfest, all of those things. Lots of Redsfest coverage for you today as Redsfest starts tomorrow. We're going to get into all that a little bit later in the show, but where we are going to start is what if the hashtag get the pitching wasn't just an idea, but it was a mission statement? That's exactly what we're going to talk about here in the first segment of today's show that's brought to you by FanDuel, the official, totally botched that. It's brought to you by FanDuel, folks. That's what we're doing. The wild card round is here, and FanDuel is officially in playoff mode. So visit FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the National Football League, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game. Check out FanDuel to get started today. Whew. Okay. Wow. Let's get into this, Jeff, because it is Redsfest time. The Reds have a lot of pitching. They don't have any hitting. We have been beating them over the head with a stick over this lineup and over these position players. But if you go back a couple years, Nick Krall basically told us, I'm going to get the pitching because we can't go and buy it. We can't afford to buy it. We're not going to try and buy it. We're just going to grow our own. And they kind of did that. So if we want to be mad, he warned us, but it's led to an incomplete team.
It's an interesting angle of a concept. I was talking with some of the Locked On hosts about this the other day, and they opened my eyes a little bit because, I feel like we've been a little bit complainy this offseason, for sure, and with good reason. There's a key need that the Reds have just not addressed for multiple years now. But what if, in not addressing that need specifically, Nick Krall has said, we can't afford to get that big bopper that everybody's looking for, so we're just going to make the pitching even better. Because when you think about it, when you think about this division, not necessarily in holistic terms, just matchup terms, are there any other lineups in this division that are so good that you're really worried about the Reds pitching staff? I would argue that the Cubs are kind of really a hard out for this Reds pitching staff, but outside of just a complete collapse like we saw in the wild card round against the Dodgers, which I don't know. I feel like maybe at that moment, the Reds pitching staff just collectively collapsed because of the season that they had. I think that they're set up really well to win this division, pitching versus hitting. And that's the interesting part about this. As much as we continue to just absolutely hammer them for neglecting the lineup, it does feel like they have built a good pitching staff with a chance to be really great.
That's true. And it's you really can't dispute it. You can look at the Reds 1 through 5 starting pitching. You can look at now what the 6, 7, and 8 guys that will be collecting dust down in Louisville look like. You can look at the bullpen and its upgrades, and you can look at this pitching staff, and you can say with a fair amount of certainty, this is going to be a good pitching staff. The problem is that this philosophy it's like everything else Nick Krall has done since he took control, which is it's an incomplete thought. It's an incomplete sentence. It's an incomplete operation because, okay, you built this pitching staff, but you've neglected the lineup. And now you're telling us, well, we're not going to be a power hitting team. We're not going to go out and get that bopper. We're going to lean into the line drives, and, they'll occasionally run into one, and we'll score runs the old school way. We'll get them on, we'll get them over, we'll get them in. Well, then take steps to help your team along. And I hate that I have to point at the Kansas City Royals as an example of what you do when your team can't work in the environment that you have provided for it. You change the environment. We see in Kansas City, they are moving the fences in. They're going to create more opportunities for guys to hit home runs. If the Cincinnati Reds are going to be this team, if they're going to be this team that absolutely is adamantly not going to go out and pay for a guy that can hit you 40 home runs a year, move the fences back, make a bigger outfield, make those line drives and base hits mean something. Give the players an opportunity to turn a base hit into a double into a triple, score more runs, move the fences back. Oh, now Bob's going to have to spend some money and take out some seats and do some things, but this team will be better. You take a Great American Ballpark and lean it pitching, and now you've got something going on. If you're going to be this pitching only team, you can create an environment where your team can be more successful in the 81 games, the half season they play at that ballpark. And then you can win a division and you can host a playoff game and use your ballpark to your advantage instead of having to go on the road and not score any runs in not win 4 consecutive playoff games. That's what they need to do, Jeff. I mean, if you're going to do it, lean into it. It's the half-assedness of it all that really just bothers me the most. I mean, if you're going to pick a direction and be so adamant about sticking to it, cool, but really lean into it and own it then and make the changes necessary to make it work. Don't just have a little philosophy you're printing on your business card.
If you can't build a team to fit your stadium, build your stadium to fit your team. That's what I'm hearing. That's what we're talking about here. But no, I think there's an angle here that we may have been a little bit overcritical on, because if you think about this pitching staff, it is really good, and it can be the pitching staff that can anchor you in those close games. Here's the problem. What Reds fans know, what Reds fans saw last year was a team that scored 1 run or less in 34 games. Steve, what was their record in those 34 games?
Oh, it was very bad. I don't have it in front of me, but it was like they lost 2/3 of those games.
Steve, they were 4-30.
Oh, they lost more than 2/3 of those games. They lost 90% of those games.
It was bad. And so there's a philosophy, and spoiler alert, by the way, they won 0 games when they scored 0 runs. So when you score 1 run as a Reds team, you're only winning 4 out of the 14 games that happened last year. So there's a bit of almost blind faith that you're asking us to believe that a pitching staff can hold together a 1-run lead, or a 1-0 lead specifically here, not just 1 run, but a 1-0 lead, no matter how good that pitching staff is. And I think that a lot of it has to do with the ballpark. I mean, you're talking about a ballpark that, as long as you've got some amount of power, I don't care how good the pitcher is, he's not going to make a perfect pitch every time out. And if you've got a guy up there that can take advantage of that mistake, you can change the game in one swing. That's why we've continued to say we really want that guy in this lineup. But I do find this intriguing from the standpoint of, it's not as if the Reds, by neglecting this one need, have completely neglected the roster and they're just a horrible team. This is still a team that has a really good shot to be a winning ball club. It's just the difference between being a winning ball club and being a playoff ball club and being a division contending ball club that we really want them to attack. And it feels like neglecting that big need has kind of been the thing that has kept them from attacking that gap. But the pitching, I'm not worried about it. I mean, obviously outside of injury, which you cannot predict, I'm not worried about this pitching staff.
Yeah, I gave them an F for the offseason yesterday. And, I stand by that. But understand that's not a grade of the team. I'm not grading the team an F. I'm grading Nick Krall and his efforts to make it better an F, knowing what the needs of the team were. There's still a lot of talent on this team. There are dozens, or a dozen maybe. There's a lot of teams in Major League Baseball that would take the Cincinnati Reds pitching staff right now. That they would swap their pitching staff for ours right this second. So the Reds have good pitching, and there's still, I'm not ready to pronounce the position player group dead. The offense is not dead. There's just a lot of hope. And by the way, I don't know if you saw on Twitter X this morning, I think it was Greg that made the hope jersey, but everydayers are undefeated with the the pictures coming out the day after the episodes where I say things. So it was Cincinnati Reds home
Number
jersey.
26.
Number 26.
26.
Hope on the back. I love it. If I see one at Great American Ballpark this season, that would be like that would take the cake. But I mean, there's still talent on this team. A healthy Elly is going to be way better than he was last year. Matt McLain and Spencer Steer are going to have better seasons than they had last year. Beyond that, there is a lot of hope. I know those three things to be true if those three players are healthy. De La Cruz, Steer, and McLain will all be better than they were last year as long as they're healthy. The rest of the team, I don't know. I don't know what to think. There's a lot of hope. There's hope that Sal Stewart is a thing. There's hope that the outfield can cobble something together. There's hope. So there's a lot of fingers crossed still yet with this position group. But the team is not an F. This is not the Miami Marlins. This is not teams that just don't even ever try. And don't really even care about being 500. This is a team that, I believe wants to make the playoffs and has the talent to do it from a wild card standpoint. I just want them to be more than that.
No, I agree with that too. I mean, I think that this is the season of hope, quite frankly. The time of year. I'm not talking about 2026 specifically. I'm talking about this point in the year, especially with what's coming up this weekend, is where hope begins to build. We build it with Redsfest. We build it with spring training. We build it as we head into opening day, and then Ian Jabot closes opening day, and that all gets shot to hell. But I think that when it comes to where we are right now, hope is building. And the reason for that is clear. We love our Reds, and there is nothing, I say this almost including opening day, there's nothing that proves how much we love the Reds more than Redsfest. The NFL playoffs are raging on, and FanDuel is officially in playoff mode every single day. In fact, every game day during the NFL playoffs, FanDuel is giving customers even more ways to get in on the action. Because right now, every NFL playoff game day, FanDuel users get a profit boost pack waiting for them inside the app. Each game day, you'll see a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts that you can apply to bets that you like the most. The boost lets you lean into your game day instincts, whether you're backing momentum shifts, looking at defensive play, quarterback play, or coaching, all of it. The profit boosts really help you out with that. And so you can get in on the action for every NFL playoff game. Plus, you can check out some futures. There's MLB bets for like division odds and things like that. Reds still in third. Cubs moved ahead of the Brewers after the Alex Bregman signing. Got to check all of that out over on FanDuel. Visit FanDuel each and every NFL playoff game day and get yourself a profit boost pack. FanDuel is an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Thank you for making Locked On Reds your first listen of the day and every day, quite frankly. And you know what? You always make Locked On part of your day. You live your team every day. Now, take it up a notch and go ad-free. That's right. Join the Locked On Reds Everydayer Club. Get an ad-free feed of the episode for each and every day. You can also join a members-only Discord group, and there's so much more. It's $5 a month or $50 for the whole year. Go to lockedonreds.supercast.com or check the link in the description of today's show to learn more. All right, Steve, it is awesome. I always say this, and I know it's multiple days, so those of you that want to be pedantic about it can probably holler at me, but it's my second favorite day of the year. My first favorite day is opening day. But Redsfest is my second favorite day because it is all about everything Reds. It's about future Reds. It's about current Reds. It's about former Reds. It's about Reds fans, their loves. There's so many different memorabilia areas that you could go to. You can get to meet all of your favorite players from future, past, present, all of the different things. I always say to people, like, one of my favorite stories was I ran into Brett Tomko whenever he was walking between a photograph booth and somewhere else, and people were like, really, Brett Tomko? But hey, look, Ken Griffey Jr. Baseball on the Nintendo 64. I pitched a lot with Brett Tomko. So yeah, I like Brett Tomko. But when it comes to Redsfest, this is the biggest weekend of the year to just love the Reds.
Yeah, this is one of those environments where, while there will be conversations amongst the fan base about, the flaws and the things we talk about on a daily basis. It's just really it's a convention center full of positivity, and it's an opportunity to just have a good time and not have a game outcome be on the line to either make the mood or spoil the mood, not have, anything that can, you're going to be inside. Weather's not a problem. It's just a good chance to come out and meet other Reds fans and see Reds fans you haven't seen in a while, which is usually the case for us as we wander around the convention center. So I always look forward to this, Jeff. I always look forward to getting to talk to people, and there's not a game on, so it's more time to really have prolonged conversations with people where you're not like, I got to get back to my seat. I got to, this game is flying by. It's a good opportunity to really chat Reds baseball and see all the memorabilia and find good deals on things and just kind of do the things you like to do around the Reds and hang out with people that feel the same way.
I always tell people, and I saw a post, and I'm blanking on the username, so I apologize for not shouting you out, but I saw a post on Reddit the other day of this Reds Fest was going to be their first, or is going to be their first, and they just don't know how to approach it. And I always tell this to anybody that it's your first Reds Fest: do not go there expecting to meet Elly and meet Hunter Greene. Mm-hmm. There's a chance you could, and I don't say that that's a 0% chance, but honestly, approach it like there's a 1% or less chance of you getting up to the front of the line, getting an autograph or getting a picture with them, because I remember, and you were there, I think you were there that year as well, the year before he was called up, there was a throng of people that followed him around Redsfest. And every player kind of walks around the convention center with a handler. And the idea is that they're not bombarded just every second as they're trying to walk from place to place. But you could see just groups of people just following him along to try and get an autograph or try and get a photograph or whatever it was. But my advice to people is to go there, just kind of be open to what you can find, because you're going to find good deals. This is usually where I buy my hats. This is usually where if you get jerseys, it's a great place to get a jersey. I once bought a putter from Redsfest. Don't know that I would recommend anybody looking for golf equipment there, but that happened one year. It was an Odyssey 2-ball putter with a Reds logo on the face. And because I'm a lefty, and because nobody sells left-handed clubs all the time, this was on a table somewhere, and they're like, yeah, $50 or whatever. I'm like, heck yeah, I know that's a great deal. But when it comes to Reds Fest, approach it with the mindset of, we're just going there to be ensconced in the Cincinnati Reds for 2 days. It's weird as that sounds.
And the broadcasters are out and about and walking the floor. You're going to get a chance to say hi to Sadak. You're going to get a chance to say hi to Chris Welsh. The Cowboy is going to be there, I believe. Pretty much the whole broadcasting crew is going to be there. So, it's the players, it's the broadcasting crew. If you're lucky enough to be on the escalator at the right time, Phil Castellini can give you the dagger eyes like Jeff and I got a couple years back.
Lucky or unlucky? How's that one roll?
I live though, man.
That was so funny. No, but that's kind of how you should do it. And look, if you are, I'm not going to begrudge it. If you are a collector and you're going there to get autographs and all that other stuff, that's fine. Just know that you're going to be waiting in crazy long lines. And I know that people have their opinions of folks who are adults and tend to do collecting and all that other stuff. And as that one guy that they keep playing his little clip on TikTok says, I'm not going to judge you, but everybody else is, but I'm not going to judge you. When it comes to that, there's an element of Reds Fest that feels like tension, like people trying to get from autograph line to autograph line. Just don't do that. Just don't feel tension this weekend. And you can buy 2-day passes. 2-day passes are $44.50 this year. And I know that the hallway area, whatever that's going to look like, because obviously now it's going to look totally different since it's been all completely renovated, but the inner hallway will be opened early on each day, at least according to Reds.com. It says that the convention center itself will open up at 9 a.m. on Friday. The convention floor, where everything is, won't open up until 3. But 9 a.m. Friday, you can go in, get tickets, all that other stuff. And then on Saturday, it's going to open up at 7:30 a.m. So if you can't go on Friday, but you can go on Saturday, you can go early, get your ticket, and get ready to go into the convention floor, but the doors will not open up to the convention floor until 3 p.m. on Friday or 11 a.m. on Saturday. And it's just, it's going to be a really good time to kind of celebrate. We're going to be down there too. And when it comes to this weekend, it means a lot of things to a lot of different people, but I think what it does is it just builds the season up for everybody.
Well, it's definitely great to have it back. And there's a lot of reasons that it's important that Redsfest is back. And we're going to talk about those reasons coming up next. If you can't watch us on YouTube, you can listen to us on every single podcasting app out there pretty much. If you really find one we're not on and it's legit and you need us there, message Jeff. He can make it happen for you, I'm sure. But we're pretty much on all the ones that there are. We're widely distributed. So make sure you check us out. You can take us on the road. You can take us in the car. You can take us to the gym if you can't watch us here on YouTube. We love talking Reds baseball with you. So click that subscribe button, baby. All right, Jeff, it's pretty clutch, as you say over here in the rundown on the right-hand side there. It's clutch to have Redsfest back. I missed it, and I think a lot of fans missed it. It's important, I think, for the fans, and it's important for the team, because this, as we talked about, is an opportunity where win-loss records aren't what's being discussed, where tomorrow's starting pitcher doesn't matter, where who hit fourth in the lineup yesterday and went 0 isn't being talked about. It's really just a great opportunity to come together with the team and have a goodwill session. Hear from the players, hear from the guys from the past, hear great stories, hear great things from, that you didn't know about what the locker room was like in the 80s. Lots of dynamics. Sean Casey's going to be bopping around the convention center a little bit. He played for Terry Francona in Boston. There's lots of guys coming back in that are former players that either played with Terry Francona or played for Terry Francona. They're going to have stories to tell. Francona is going to be around with stories to tell. And these are just things you're not going to hear on a daily basis down at GABP. The guys are working. They're in the dugout. They're getting ready to play. This is where they all relax and cut loose and rib each other and have a good time. And a lot of times stories will come out of that you haven't had the opportunity to hear before. I love that. And I love that the Reds are leaning back into creating a space for fans to have that experience. And so much of the active roster, so much of the higher rated talent in the minor league system are all going to be in one place at one time. And I love how much participation there is from the players in this. And I love how many of the alumni players and the former players are coming back, and all of the broadcasters being there. The team, I think, is really leaning in to having everybody there and available and accessible for people to hear from. And I think that's important. That's important for a fan base that has really taken it on the chin for a lot of years and has had a lot asked of it in the form of patience and understanding from this organization. It's good that the team is back and presenting an opportunity for the fans to have a feel-good moment.
It's interesting to me that we didn't get Redsfest last year whenever they hired Terry Francona, because I feel like that would have been a bit of a way to almost like raise the bar as far as how people felt about him. Because remember, like immediately after he brought Ian Gibaut in to close on opening day, there were a lot of folks that were just like, "Oh my gosh, all right, I'm out on Tito. It just ain't working." Like, would that have been different had people had a chance to have Redsfest moments with him? Because I feel like there are opportunities that people have, and there are memories that people have. And I'd encourage you to throw those down in the comment section as well. People have memories with different players at Redsfest or different coaches or whatever. Like, there probably would have been that opportunity to at least get to meet him before he makes bad bullpen decisions. And so you get a different opinion of the guy. Now there's going to be a little bit of a lesser impact of his Redsfest appearance, where people are just going to be like, "The heck you put Ian Gibaut in? It's the closer on opening day for." And then he'll probably say something.
I'm not going to lie.
Be like, "Oh yeah."
I'm not going to lie. I don't know that you and I ever exchanged a more significant look of puzzlement than when Ian Gibaut came into that game.
Like, what?
We had a whole conversation without words sitting there at Great American Ballpark. You and I just looking at each other like, what is actually happening right now? It's Ian Gibaut.
Like, Tito, man, turn around. Just ask anybody who should bring out. No one would have said Jabot. But no, I think that's going to be a fun thing. And like you mentioned, the stories and the different opportunities that you have to see like other sides of players and coaches and things like that. The Reds do have a lot of fun stuff that they do on the main stage. And if you're watching on YouTube, I kind of threw that up. If you're listening on your favorite podcast app, you can find it on reds.com. I'm not going to go through every single thing, but like, I know they're going to do a hot stove report at 7:30 p.m. from the main stage on Friday night. You got the Jim Day podcast at 3:05 p.m. on Saturday. There's also like fun things that they do for kids and all that other stuff. I know the kids only press conference on Saturday usually yields some funny things, some funny answers, funny questions that people pose to that, but so many different fun things that they have in there. I know Bronson Arroyo's doing a concert at 4:30 on Friday. If anybody's able to get down to the convention center at that point on Friday, I know we're going to be there all hours of Reds Fest both days, but a lot of fun stuff.
What I need to know is if you are going to be out in the middle of the dance floor there at the end on Friday night with the E-Train dance party that's going to be going down on the main stage.
No.
I feel like that is a prime opportunity for you to show the Reds fans another side of yourself.
I considered it, but the Macarena has been dead for years. I don't think anybody's going to be shocked by that. When it comes to other opportunities, well, wanted to show this one because, and if you've not seen this is on reds.com, but like, you know, the idea of player photographs and things like this is just kind of a quick look at it. This is actually Everydayer Scott Campbell. Good to see him getting a little love by reds.com folks, but getting a picture with Andrew Abbott. There's so many different moments. And honestly, I'm more of a photograph guy anyway. I feel like I have been a big jinx when it comes to autographs. The last autograph that I got at Reds Fest was Dan Straley, which he was traded, I think, about a week after that. But, you know, it did bring in Luis Castillo, so that worked out. But ultimately, I don't want to put that kind of pressure on anybody to get traded. Like if I get their autograph, it's like, oh boy, well, there goes Elly. He's gone.
No, you may see me jump in an autograph line or two, just depending on what the throngs look like. If I'm in the right place at the right time, I might step into a line. But you know, I'm
comfy seat at the bar.
I like to partake of the vendors, the various memorabilia vendors that are around the convention floor. There's always good stuff over there, and you don't have to wait in line to get it. So that's generally my approach to things. But every once in a while, you'll see me step into an autograph line. A couple times I've jumped into autograph lines that weren't too busy, just with players and alumni that I know. So I go up there and talk to them for a minute and give them a break from signing. We did that with Chris Welsh a couple times where he's like, nah, you don't sign anything, Chris. We're here to talk to you for a minute. And he was like, ha.
And I don't think, and I know like in years past, some things had like cost like a little bit of money. I don't think anything this year costs extra, and that includes the photographs, because I think the photographs for a couple of years they were like $10 or something like that. I don't think that's the case anymore. At least looking at the frequently asked questions, it looks like the photo booths, at least numbers 1, 2, and 3, are all for free. So that's a cool thing, because I think I remember too, like they were like cash only, which might be why they don't cost any money anymore, because you can't pay cash for anything. But yeah, no, it's going to be a fun weekend. I know the two of us are going to be down there. Mrs. Locked On Reds is going to be down there as well, though she is doing the whole dry January
does
thing.
She know?
And don't tell her I'm not. But yeah,
does she know that's what we're calling her? Is that? Oh, I'm texting Hannah. I am texting Hannah right now.
I haven't ran it by her people.
Her new name is Mrs. Locked On Reds.
May or may not be.
No, absolutely. If you see us in the convention center, come say hi. Come talk baseball. That's why we love being there. It is talking with you guys. So we're going to be around. We're going to be wandering the floor. Not a specific spot, not in a booth. There may be a couple times, maybe once on Friday, maybe once on Saturday. One of us will just kind of tweet out on X over there, kind of where we're hanging out. If anybody wants to come hang out for a little while and talk some ball, we'll probably do that. So if you're not following us, follow us. You can follow Jeff on Twitter X. That's Jeff with 3 Fs. Spelling's always been hard for him. We don't like to talk about it. You can follow me at S Offenbaker with 2 Fs because I can spell. And you can follow the show at Locked On Reds. There's no Fs in that because that's how English works. All right, Jeff, that's going to do it. Let's wrap it up. That's going to do it for this edition of Locked On Reds. Thanks as always for making us your first listen each and every day. We appreciate you so much. Again, follow us on the socials because we want you to know when things are happening. For those on the YouTube, the video feed is going to send you automatically over to the first ever 24/7 national Locked On Reds Podcast Network YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff going on over there from all of the experts across the Locked On Network. If you're on audio, go make Locked On MLB your second listen. Sully's doing great work over there each and every day, covering Major League Baseball from a national perspective. Once again, don't forget, if you would like to get the audio version of this show ad-free, join the Everydayer Club, $5 a month. The link for that is down in the show notes. We will see you at Redsfest. We'll be back in your feeds next week or this week. If something big happens, maybe Nick Krall will show up to Redsfest with a power bat that we didn't know was coming, and we will do an emergency podcast, maybe even from right there in the parking lot. Who knows? But we will be keeping you locked on Reds every single day. Mrs. Locked On Reds. She's not going to like that.
Maybe the first lady of Locked On Reds.
See, you already screwed it up because it's out there for the masses now. You're in trouble. She's not going to like that.